extremely exciting race coming up. Only 5 minutes until jump time. Your final thoughts, Richo? We're looking at Artorius heading down to the start. He looks cool, calm and collected. James McDonald, super focused. He'd be really pumped to get a winner on this meeting.
Yeah, he certainly would. He's been a little frustrated, J-Mac, but I'm lucky enough to catch up with him on a couple of occasions. A little frustrated about things not necessarily going his way, placing in a couple of group races. I think he can win. If Artorius presents and produces the level that we've seen in the past, he can win this. And I reckon Sacred for Tom Marquardt and William Haggis, that's going to be the big danger for mine.
Thanks, Richo. Well, we look forward to catching up with you after the race. Artorius is, of course, on everyone's lips. Good luck to all the Aussies as we head out to the team at ITV.
And as Matt said on the opening show earlier, he's been ridden more positively and further forward in the field, and slightly due to the fact that they've done plenty of stalls work. He's jumping quicker, which has helped. And if he can do that and hold a better position, it will definitely increase his chances.
I wonder if it matters that he hasn't run for 98 days. They said there wasn't really a race for him and they were just going to keep him fresh for Ascot, but that would be a slight concern for me. Now, Wellington I saw in the paddock, and he is an absolute beast. And he's got some record. He's won over £6 million in earnings. He is, well, just under, I suppose. Richard Gibson trains him and he's been a star of the sprinting scene. He's 6 years old now, 12 wins from 23 runs. Do you fancy him, Brian?
All the other runners, much better value in this race.
And it's a big boost for Wellington, isn't it? The fact that Ryan Moore elected to ride him. Ryan having a brilliant week so far this week, and really helps the horse's chances having him on board.
Oh, for sure. Look, when it's amazing, Ryan can drop down anywhere. You know, if he goes to Australia, if he goes for the Melbourne Cup Carnival, he can get on horses that he hasn't been riding regularly, you know.
That's exactly right. Ryan Moore is truly international. He came down under BZ. He won a Golden Slipper just recently. He also won a Ranvet as well. He's really is a world-class jockey, and he is certainly riding a horse that I'm sure he would love to win on.
He's had Cox Plates, Melbourne Cups. There's not many races right around the world that he hasn't won, and he's aboard the Hong Kong Sprinter in Wellington for Richard Gibson here in the Jubilee Stakes. We bring in Matt Hill for his thoughts. Matt, anticipation building here ahead of the feature sprint contest with 3 Australians. What are your thoughts?
BZ, it's absolutely brilliant, and this is one of the better international sprints that you'd see anywhere on the globe. We've even got Spanish representation with Cuerda Pierre, French bred, but Spanish trained by Delta Sanchez, who runs races in France because it's just too good to race in its own country. And then you've got the Hong Kong element with Wellington, the American element with Big Invasion. So it is a wonderful occasion in front of 80,000 people here at Royal Ascot. Was very keen to watch Artorius, the astrologist, and Cannonball head down to the start. As it's been discussed, it's extremely warm, and a few horses are getting warm out behind the gates, as you'd expect. But I was very taken with the parade of Artorius. James just sent him down the middle of the track very quietly ahead of everybody else. And then once they got behind the barriers, the horse ears pricked and just stared down the straight like a 100-metre Olympic champion, knowing what he had to do. What a professional he is. They've learnt from last year. He'll settle a bit closer. I can't wait, BZ. It's getting very exciting, isn't it?
It is, certainly is. Massive field here, a lot of interest from right across the globe, and he looks like James McDonald's just taken Artorius away from the rest of the rivals right at the back of the field.
Yes, deliberately, obviously, and Highfield Princess has been the other one that has been interesting to watch down to the start because of the British connection. She's a star and she ran so well here on Tuesday, but Jason Hart's been happy to keep her around the other runners. You mentioned Artorius with the running last year. It's interesting to note that 24 ran in it last year. So he had a few traffic cones to try and negotiate there 12 months ago. Lighter field today, which I think's in his advantage as well. He gets his chance, doesn't he? He's weighted well. He's drawn a middle gate, so James McDonald can make some decisions. It's a beautiful draw, really. And 16 runners. So let's hope for no traffic as they move in. So it's the Queen Elizabeth II Jubilee. Power at the absolute top level has been a bit disappointing. He's running 9 Group 1s and hasn't been able to score any of them. Elsa Hale comes up, Charlie Appleby. Won the race with Godolphin 12 months ago with Naval Crown. Elsa Hale going in. Art Power joins them. Cawerda Pierre is in, the Spanish trained runner. Rohan, who's coming out of those 2 Wokingham victories the last 2 years. Is class going to be the question? But the Corson trip is certainly no problem at all. So Artorius is going to load next. Highfield Princess, there are the 2 kingpins. They're about to move up virtually together. Highfield Princess, who had that interference occur to her on Tuesday, and she was seeing out the end of 5 furlongs very well. There's a problem at the back. Cardem, he's just starting to overcook a little, and Jamie Spencer was just unshipped momentarily, and you can see he's certainly getting quite warm behind the saddle now, just foaming up. So we're getting close. The build-up's been magnificent. The Australians have looked forward to this moment all week. As Cardem goes up, the Jubilee Stakes. 3 Australians. Good luck to all of them. They are ready. Set to go. Barrier 8, Artorius. Racing now. Artorius jumped away pretty well. Art Power away fast. Cawerda Pierre, the astrologist, broke very quickly, and the American Big Invasion Sacred just behind them. And Kinross out wider on the track. Highfield Princess is going to lead the division out here with Art Power, and then came Artorius, who is a little bit closer. Then came Emirati, Anna the outer. Back behind them, Sondrine and Elsa Hale. And there's 1 riderless in the run. There's 1 riderless here, and at this stage of the game, I think it's Cannonball, because I can't see Cannonball. The astrologist, the leader, heading down towards the 3 furlong marker, led by a length and a half. 2 in second place, Cawerda Pierre, Kinross, Big Invasion Sacred. Over on this side, it's Highfield Princess leading. Artorius dug along at this stage from Sondrine, and then came Art Power. The astrologist running a race, 300 yards left to go with Sacred and Kinross. Highfield Princess down the outside, and they were followed next in the field by Cardem, who's coming through, but it's the mare Sacred leading Cardem. Highfield Princess the outside, 100 yards left to go. Cardem and Sacred. Cardem in the middle. Cardem for Jamie Spencer beats Sacred. Highfield Princess. Artorius 4th, the astrologist 5th, then Cawerda Pierre, and next in the field then was Kinross pulling up quickly. Out wide Elsa Hale, and then came Wellington. Also Sondrine in the pull-up. Rohan has finished a long way back, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to be Cannonball that's lost Daniel Tudhope down there at the start. So that's disappointing for the Australian connections, but it's Cardem, the gelding by Dark Angel for Charles Hills. Jamie Spencer has taken out the Jubilee Stakes. Cardem is the winner. It's going to be another roughie, another long shot win at Royal Ascot, bowling them out. Tom Marquand with Sacred's run a huge race, was beaten 1 length in it last year, and she's got a little bit closer. Artorius hit that flat spot, has run on okay, but has been in the end a big run. The astrologist, what a performance with Damien Lane running better than expected. But it's going to be Cardem, an outsider, winning the Jubilee.
And notch a prize with a 7-year-old gelding in this level takes some doing. So well done if you found Cardem. A big shock in this race.
And Richard, the biggest price winner ever in this Jubilee Stakes was 40 to 1. Cardem has just won at 80 to 1. I mean, congratulations if you found him. He comes right from the back, typical Jamie Spencer. Prior to this, he'd been 0 from 8 in Group 1s. He was 4th in 2020, Megan. But here comes Spencer, scything through the field.
Oh, it's so smooth. It's so nice to watch, isn't it, when it all goes to plan and Jamie sort of gives his typical Ascot ride. But look, this is going to be massive for the team. Cardem's not easy in the stalls. We've seen him unship his jockeys previously, and it was just amazing the amount of ground he managed to sort of get on the others in the final furlong. And look, he's found form from nowhere. He was 3rd in only a listed event on his return. He's bounce right back to the best of his ability here.
Jamie Spencer has found the absolute conveyor belt. I'd say that's nearly the same strip, the same blades of grass that he came up on Witch Hunter the other day. He was asked afterwards, tell us about that, Jamie. Well, I rode him to run well. Wallop, in he goes, and that is just masterclass, Spencer.
I mean, 80 to 1.
His Betfair SP is 140, so 139 to 1.
I mean, we might as well just give up our jobs because we're meant to be experts. We're meant to know the form. We're meant to work out clues from the market, from the form, from how they look. But the outsider's gone and won. It's Cardham.
One thing I can guarantee, Jamie Spencer will be ice cool in this interview. Rishi.
Well, let's find out how ice cool Jamie Spencer is in this interview. Jamie, if I understand right, a couple of people have told me that Mrs. Hay said all she wanted you to do was stay on board this time in the paddock.
Yes, okay, no pressure. I followed Frankie and Tom. I could see Tom was going well at halfway, so just like in a cycling race, you let him do the work for you, and you hope when you pull out, you've got a little bit to go and fire. But it's difficult for me to put into words what Jim and Fitchery have been like, as friends to me for a long time, and they've been great people towards me. And even for myself and my own children are watching now. In years before, when I was probably flying at this meeting, they wouldn't have understood, but they understand now, and it's nice when you get a text from them saying well done and whatnot.
Would this be one of the most emotional successes of your career?
I know, look, winning Group 1s are hard. Getting on the horse is generally the hardest part, but listen, it's just a fantastic day and I'm going to enjoy it. And I sit beside Frankie and I'm going on holidays with him tomorrow, and I was looking pretty bleak now the last few days. Can't have to listen to him. Even one of my friends said he's going to be insufferable after Capice won, so I've had a little bit of a fight back, but not very much.
Well, it was amazing to watch you showing what you've got in the saddle, Jamie. Terrific stuff today.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
And his kids, who he referred to there, are talented in their own right. He is supremely talented in the saddle. He's been champion jockey here at Ascot before, 17 years ago. Now he's coming in another Group 1 winner. 2 on the week for Spencer, and Charlie Hills, who we know from Muhara and Batash, so good with these sprinters. And Cardham, we've seen him produce the goods at Goodwood really before in the King George sprint at Goodwood. Now delivers at Royal Ascot. Well done, Charlie. In the colours of the Hays, Mrs. Fitchery Hay, led in by Violet Barton. Cardham wins the Queen Elizabeth II Jubilee Stakes. And he's not the easiest before the race in the stalls, and now he doesn't really want to go into the winner's enclosure much. Maybe Mrs. Fitchery Hay will get them going in the right direction. A shame for Violet not to be leading in the horse she looks after. No, Violet's back in charge. I think that's probably sensible.
7 people clapping who backed him. Brilliant from Spencer. You know, as we said, Witch Hunter up that same strip of ground, and talk about having the confidence to get him into that rhythm. And he has such a great set of hands. That is key. They are the best telephone wires in the world. And to sit and wait and slipstream his way in, just like, I mentioned it earlier this week, just like Eddie De La Houssaye back in the day over at Santa Anita.
And yet, I mean, nothing phases him. Nothing phases him. Not even that. He gets a lot of sticks sometimes on social media for a waiting ride where he drops out the back and doesn't get there in time.
I often used to ask Cash Asmussen, you know, what is it, Cash, about your riding? And he would say, well, try and take the best from each rider and use that in my own skill when I'm out there. And Spencer's one of those. It wouldn't matter if he was riding for £1 or 10 million. He could ride